documentary and giving us a little history about reggaeton. Um, I felt a little ignorant because this whole time I thought reggaeton was from Colombia.
Okay.
So thank you for educating us in music.
Oh, I mean, I'm glad you got a takeaway from that. There's been a lot of back and forth about the origins of reggaeton, and the beautiful thing about reggaeton is that there's no Colombian reggaeton, Puerto Rican reggaeton. It's reggaeton.
Yes. So, I mean, that's where you start with the first episode. So, in your own words, what is reggaeton?
Reggaeton to me is a genre that was born out of the struggle of marginalized kids from the hoods and caseríos of Puerto Rico that against all odds turned into a global phenomenon.
Your documentary covers so much and even touches on a little bit of the politics, how a lot of these kids on the streets were using what was going on in the music as their therapy, which is brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, I think all that fed into their lyrics. I think all that fed into the development of the genre. It didn't come out of anywhere, right? It's like, we hear reggaeton now and it's all over the place. And when you see something, it's like where you hear something, you feel like it just got here, right? But there was a process to this to reggaeton. It had different names. It started off as underground, then it went to perreo, and then finally went into reggaeton. And the crazy thing about it is that it was really well, that's a spoiler alert, but yeah, it's a big factor.
So, how did this come together in the idea of giving us a little history about reggaeton and with Daddy Yankee in it?
Um, yeah, I mean, Yankee and I sat down. I'm Puerto Rican. Our families are from the same neighborhood in Puerto Rico, which is Villa Palmera. I was raised in New York, but I went to Puerto Rico in the summer, so I kind of saw the development of it. So I would bring back Playero tapes from Puerto Rico when I was like 14 years old, to back to Brooklyn, when I was a kid. And so it was this thing where I would sort of like just listen to watch documentaries and listen to like podcasts or whatever. And like I was always like, I don't know that that's the right story, because I was there because I saw it, right? And I bought the mixtapes from Playero and I was at the noise and so it was that. It just stemmed from a conversation with Yankee and I. It was sort of like this 5 hour conversation, and it just turned into this amazing, beautiful collaboration.
He takes us to where he's from, a little history also about him, and it just makes me feel how what a how proud moment for him to share where he comes from, the apartment he lived in with his wife, and now who he is today.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think it's, if there's one thing that I, from traveling to make this movie to Colombia, Chile and all these places, is that one thing is a constant with reggaeton, and it's that it still starts from very humble beginnings. Like most of the artists start from very humble beginnings, right? So I think it was important to share that, and I think it was a beautiful moment for him to be like, hey, like this is who I am, this is where I come from, and I'm never losing that.
And the footage that you have, I mean, showing the one where he was in with his he had he was shot in his leg and there he was trying to he was rapping taking over the night, although he's slightly handicapped and just hanging in there.
Yeah, yeah, and that was quite a struggle because we're talking early '90s, and if it was hard to get footage from anybody in the early '90s in the States, it was damn near impossible in Puerto Rico, right? So we're very proud of the footage that we found. We got it from the sources. And funny enough, as we were like editing the film and scrubbing through it, one of those nights from that particular denoise footage that you're speaking of, I found I come out of that footage. I think I was like 13 or 14 years old. But yeah, it was shocking to me too to see that. So
That's amazing. And then you also show us when first Yankee, Daddy Yankee and Nicky Jam meet, and it's in footage too.
yeah, 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 yeah. I mean, Nicky Jam is in the movie, and I mean, we can't talk about Reggaeton without talking about Nicky Jam, also. And that was another thing we wanted to do with this is just get as many people as possible into this film. So it feels as authentic as it can be.
You said you were a fan of reggaeton from the beginning. So who was one of the subjects that you were pretty excited, or maybe you could name more, but they were excited to have involved in the documentary as a fan?
I mean, Yankee. You know, it's like I mean, there's a quote in the movie, in the series where somebody goes, reggaeton is here, Daddy Yankee's here, right? So I'm honored to have produced this film with him.
The reggaeton is like it's like it adopts all these different music from different locations. Even I didn't even realize that from Jamaica, and a little bit about the culture from New York.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, as Puerto Ricans, we like me, like I grew up in New York, so I would, I went to school in New York as a kid, right? And then, elementary, whatever, junior high school, whatever. And then you usually, go to, spend Christmas and summers in Puerto Rico. So throughout that, there's a trade in music, right? So that's how all these inspirations, right, came across, and the initial blends came out that created that beat.
And taking it back to the cassette era, do you even own any more cassettes?
It's a good question. Um, no, and it's crazy because my last documentary mixtape, was obviously about mixtapes, and I had so many, so many. Like I was one of the first, if I heard there was a mixtape coming out, like I was the first, like running to like search for, who's got it, where I could get it, how I could dub it, and you don't realize that like, you know, you're supposed to, you should keep those things, right? So yeah, no, I lost most of mine. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like cassettes are kind of making a comeback. I just saw a thriller with cassette player, and
Yeah,
I'm
yeah, it's funny. I was in Japan, and they have straight up cassette stores. Like they'll sell some vinyls, but it's mostly brand new cassettes. Yeah.
as a director of this documentary, where were you and the did you ever feel stuck in some sort of transition of the story?
You know, the reggaeton today is moved so fast. It's like new artists, new artists, new artists, new artists, new artists, right? So that was the biggest challenge, I think, was we were done interviewing one artist, and all of a sudden it was like, wait, there's this new artist. So that was the kind of the thing is trying to get as many people involved and being up on that.
I bet you had no problem getting a lot of the subjects to be a part of it because it's their home. It's their
Yeah,
heart,
yeah,
their art.
everybody that was honored to be a part of this, right? This we like to think of this as sort of the quintessential reggaeton documentary.
Well, I really enjoyed seeing La Caballota. I'm a fan of hers, and it's like I hadn't seen her in a while, so I appreciate that. Girl power.
There it is.
Yes.
She's
Well,
amazing.
thank you so much, Omar, for your time. Congratulations with this documentary for part that people are going to be getting educated just like I did.
Thank you for your time. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you. Of course. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.